everybody. Merry Christmas, everyone out there. This is the CREEDCAST popping back into your feeds a few days before Christmas here to do a little Merry Christmas. We did one of these off just without really any planning last year, just to check back in at around Christmas time and kind of enjoy the merriment of the season and catch up with you guys one more time for 2025. And we're here. Dave here, of course, as always, and Jamie looking very festive. Good evening, Jamie. Merry Christmas.
Good evening to you. Good evening to everyone else, or morning or afternoon, whenever you feel like listening. Merry Christmas to you all, and a Happy New Year as we approach the end of 2025. And if you're a cricket fan like us, in fantastic fashion.
Yeah. There's a real air of it's a Liverpool thing that they sing Merry Christmas Everton to every year to them around this time of year at a game because they'd be below them on the table. And there's a real air of that festivity around our celebration of the fact that it is the Christmas test in Adelaide has just concluded today. We're, of course, recording on Sunday, the 21st of December, and Ash's test went to day 5 for once. And of course, our Australian team has got the job done. 3-0 fuck off has occurred. And the English, the vaunted Bazballians of the English, the kind of the barbarian, you could do the whole like Gladiator, like the guy that spruiks the story in Gladiator is like the English horde and all that stuff coming across the oceans to destroy us with their Bazball. And it's been anything but that. It has just been the too old, too slow, but too good at cricket Australians getting the job done. And it's been a beautiful sight to behold, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Yeah, I've loved every single minute of it, barring a couple of sessions or a couple of hours here or there. One of them popped up today, of course. But yeah, the best English side in 15 years has succumbed to the worst Australian side in 15 years before Christmas time, and in each match without one of Australia's best players. So, as an Aussie cricket fan, better can it get? Christmas is comes back in, takes some wickets. Mitchell Starc is having a series to remember on top of the proud SA bunch in head Carey, and then to a lesser extent Jake Weatherald, who did a little bit in the first innings, took a crucial catch today, of course, after spending a lot of time playing cricket on the Adelaide Oval. So yeah. A great day to be an Aussie, a great day more specifically for us to be South Aussies. Adelaide up there in lights once again, as looks to be at this time of the year for the next 6 or 7 years, which will be good to see it flourish in that regard, as labelled the Christmas test.
Yeah, I love that. We were talking about that the other night when we were. You and I partook in a live show of the Grade Cricketer, which thank you to you again for subbing me in. And that was really fun to kind of take part in that and be an audience member to a very successful podcast and a very fun one as well. And it was kind of just really just enjoyable. I've actually completely forgot where my train of thought was going with that one, but it's funny the sense of pride I have in beating the English, because I'm not, in the sense of patriotic fervor, I don't have it as far as actual national identity and certain things in the more negative aspects of patriotism. But when it comes to sporting teams that kind of epitomize how I feel about sports and the good parts of Australia, like a sporting team full of characters, there's characters in Travis Head and your stoic men and beautiful men in Pat Cummins, and then you've got your different pieces around it. And when it comes to cricket, I suddenly turn into, I told you today in a text message, just emotionally unstable in my patriotic fervor for cricket. And I had that today with when I started getting worried that if Jamie Smith and Will Jacks were gonna dig in for a long haul of a batting session today, that maybe something that I really didn't want to happen and would crawl into a hole would happen, and I was just in bits today. But as it's been the story of the whole Test series so far, it is a series of moments for England that they show little bits of like the class that a lot of these players have. Like Jofra Archer has had periods Jamie Smith has kind of been one that's been talked about, and he's had his period today where he looked like it. But Australia knows how to play Test match cricket. England know how to play moments, which is like the baseball thing is about seizing the moment and kind of dominating with your style, but isn't actually just isn't sustainable to good Test cricket to guys that just bowl consistently and bowl to a plan and are calm in the moments of chaos. Like Pat Cummins. Today was an interesting start with bowling with Nathan Lyon and Cameron Green with the pitch not doing too much and kind of like letting them dig in a little bit, but there was a plan. Yeah, this is the benefit of hindsight as well. I see the plan now. I didn't see it earlier. Well, I could see it, but I was also worried that it was going to get away from us. But it's just like there was this quiet confidence in this Australian team that's made me so proud watching them kind of just shut out the noise. That you could tell they heard the noise, and it's been interesting listening to Alyssa Healy in the commentary, knowing her very, very personal connection to the team, and kind of you can hear little nuggets of what she's saying and how the team has kind of compartmentalized all of the outside noise and just put it into this effort. And it's just been really, really fun to watch this team just quietly go about this business and win this series so comfortably.
Oh, that's right. It's all well and good to play baseball on postage stamp featherbed pitches, where it actually gets better to bat on, the more you play on it, which is a different to historically what English pitches have been like. So, not a coincidence, I wouldn't have thought. But England, much like any other cricketing nation, you have to do it on our decks against our boys. And you have to be betterer for longer, where, a lot of cricket playing nations quickly find out how bloody tough that is on so many different fronts. On top of this current Australian team being one of their best cricket sides in history, let alone Australian cricket sides in history, there's weather, there's different pitches just about in every city. There's no common theme. Like, sure, it's hot in the subcontinent, but conditions are all fairly similar. India does have some variances if they feel like making sporting wickets, but at least it's not going to bounce very high in India, or Pakistan. It's going to be a bit flat. You're going to get spin in India as well as that low bounce. So there's a way. But in Australia, you get tested in every single way on top of the heat of the summertime. There's bounce, there's spin, there's seam, and England's performance in this test match didn't really surprise me. Adelaide Oval, for a long while now, being the forefront of drop-in pitches in the country and probably the world in that regard. It's always been a very sporting wicket. So I know Kerry O'Keefe and Damien Fleming have lauded it today because every skill was offered something in this test match, whether it be pace, whether it be spin, or whether it be batting if you actually dug in and got to the older ball in particular. But the Ashes were a lot of bravado with a cheer squad speaking about how good they are. They're legends in their own lunchbox. And they've copped two, a right hook and a left hook in the first two games of this series, and all of a sudden they're playing for the series in the third test. So the fact that they abandoned baseball to an extent in this test match didn't surprise me at all. Their performance since yesterday and then into today, what else are you going to do? Particularly if you're some of those players who are playing for your careers almost, and the Ashes is on the line, away from home, when you've built up your squad, you've built some sort of a coal to come out here and do it over here, preparation or otherwise, healthy preparation or otherwise, I should say. Yeah, it's no surprise. No surprise. Too over prepared. And there was another quote today. I just saw it before we jumped on from Baz McCullum, along the lines of, "Oh, we cared too much in the 9 days before today and the last 2 days we've actually played cricket or some shit like that. But no, you actually played cricket because sticking to the fundamentals of Test cricket is how you play Test cricket and how you win games of Test
Yeah.
cricket. And if it weren't for a few kind of insidious baseball moments, like Jamie Smith today, for example, and Harry Brooks' reverse sweep, which he was getting away with, but you become predictable and you get bowled, as Cameron Green found out in Brisbane,
Mm.
um, with that Yorker after backing away to Bryden Cast for so long. But yeah, their performance didn't surprise me, and Australia just had to work hard and be patient, as relent do. You have to knuckle down until the fat lady is singing, and England couldn't. They just haven't been able to get over those final hurdles in moments within this series, and this game in particular.
Yeah, and it's not like Australia has taken all of their opportunities either. Like you and I have lamented through text message and chats at times about our inability to build, to knuckle down at times. Like we as a modern, I mean, I think it's just a symptom of modern cricket, the T20ization of it. As much as I was at the Adelaide Oval in 2015 when Travis Head hit that century, it was one of the greatest nights I've experienced in sports. So I've enjoyed T20, and that kind of Travis Head's journey to the Test team has come through that. So there is a part of the modern game and the modern game that we love in Travis Head that is part of that. But then you do lament just I miss. And to steal a few, I'll probably steal a few sayings from the great cricketer guys, but I miss the safety of just knowing that Justin Langer and Matthew Hayden were walking out, and they might lose one of them reasonably early on, but generally you're just like, oh, we'll get to one for 100 pretty quickly, like, well, not quickly, but that was the point. It wasn't quick, but you knew they'd get there somehow, and there's been so many moments in Australia has presented England with a lot of opportunities in these three test matches, and England just could not do up until these last few days, could not knuckle down. They're kind of like there's those tweets sometimes from like right wingers in the US that almost accidentally like do they U-turn their own
Go
brains.
full circle.
Yeah, and they're like, and
Yeah.
they end up making a
Yeah, I guess
suggestion
the
that is
180. Yeah.
yeah, they make a suggestion that is essentially like universal healthcare or something like that. And some people, there'll
Yeah,
be
all
someone,
vaccinations.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. The vaccination ones are hilarious. Like, what if we? Oh yeah, no, there was a tweet. It's like, what if we like inoculated someone with a low dose of COVID to make them better instead of vaccinations? And people are like, that's a vaccination. Like,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I had
so,
in my mind.
and I feel like
Yeah.
no, thank you for leading my brain down the right path because I knew I had an example, I just couldn't quite grab it. And I feel like England did that the last couple of days. Is like they've been all baseball and everything, and then they're like, what if the way to win Test cricket is to knuckle down and play? Like utilize the fact that we have 5 days potentially to do this thing. Like you don't have to fucking win
Hmm.
it, try to win it in 2 or 3 days because as we've seen from England over the last couple of years, they more often than not draw or lose it in 2 or 3 days instead. Well, not draw, but they lose more.
Mm.
Their winning record isn't great over the last couple of years. So it's
No,
incredible.
it's not. It started well, and then yeah, the more years that went on, the more countries had time to prepare for the way England wanted to play cricket, the less effective it got. And I mean, they play, yeah, the fundamentals of cricket, particularly in Australia, pretty much the same at whatever level. It comes down to mindset, and they play a lot like, you know, park cricketers at times in the way they go about it, in the way that they think that putting pressure just means going hard at, when they're
Mm,
playing cricket shots and playing big shots, when in actual fact, putting pressure on the opposition with the bat is rotating the strike and building innings, leaving the ball, not giving the opposition bowlers time to settle in. And sure, big shots with the right balls to the right fields can be played, obviously, but there's nothing worse as a bowler than leaking 3 or 4 singles and then the other one going for maybe a boundary but even if you take out that boundary as a bowler, you want to build pressure with dot balls. And
mm.
there's nothing more frustrating than two guys just knocking it around and finding gaps.
Like Will Jackson, Jamie Smith
And yeah,
were doing for a bit. That was frustrating the shit out of me.
exactly, and that's exactly right. And then comes the mental lapse because Jamie Smith, who will probably come back to Australia and he probably will get better, a bit like Harry Brook.
Mm,
Yeah, just the typical, again, park cricketer, rush of blood to the head. He'd hit four fours in a row. His heart was beating out of his chest. He's high on adrenaline and went one shot too many, which, yeah, for anyone who's played park cricket long enough, that, yeah, you see plenty of guys doing the same thing. And it's funny that, yeah, the English players' eyes have lit up, planning for Australian pitches that are quite different from yesteryear. Like their player plan would have been effective, say, 8 years ago in Australia when the pitches were prepared a lot flatter than they are now. They're very sporting these days, and it's why batsmen. You mentioned having the safety of batters batting for longer. They were
mm,
batting on flatter decks holistically.
mm.
The ball these days, and it's no wonder why all averages have kind of come down in the modern era. Um, I do also think that Australia in this match, unders for both of their batting innings, although it put up a score that was enough. Spoke about Australia giving the English chances, and you're right. With the bat more than the ball, I would say. But we gave
Mm.
them ins and they just didn't take it, whether it be through poor tactics or shit bowling in crucial moments and catching, particularly in Brisbane, of course. But and while I still think, and it was great to watch Carey and Head get their hundreds in their respective innings, but yeah, while I think Australia were unders in both of their innings, England lost the Test match, in my opinion, on day two when it was 40 degrees. It's look, it is the best time. The best time to be out on the field is batting in that weather.
Mm-hmm.
But Australia were just the ultimate surgeons with ball in hand and in the field. But it's not. I mean, it's not particularly easy batting in 40-degree weather because you still got a fucking helmet on your head, which gets very hot and sweaty,
Mm-hmm.
which can be distracting. But you get a hot head, and then you start to make poor choices, regardless of whether you're playing cricket or not. To be honest, but I always had a thought that because there was a lot of chat about it being the better batting day, looking at the forecast ahead of the Test match, but yeah, for people who aren't used to that kind of weather, excuse me, you still have to concentrate for a long time with bat in hand while your body is leaking water,
Mm.
electrolytes, your body temperature is rising. It's getting hot under the lid. But I think England still should have had much more of an advantage than they gave themselves, and I think that's where they lost the Test match. Australia was clinical with the ball, um, faultless just about. Um, but England would have loved to have not given up as many wickets as they did that day and scored more runs, obviously. And again, that's why it doesn't surprise me why they hung in the subsequent sessions and days after that, because they have no choice.
Yeah. They had to utilize, as I said, utilize the days of the Test match, which is just very ironic that they kind of figured that out far too late, I think. But yeah, the thing with the Heat and the day two thing is really interesting because I thought we obviously went to the live show after day one and they were talking about the simultaneous emotions of feeling like we've left 150 runs out there and also have 100
Yeah,
and also
yeah.
have 100 runs too many. Worked out that we were pretty close to that 100 runs,
Just
didn't we?
about.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but it would have been quite tight if we'd left any more out there. But the the batting and the attrition that they took on the English bat is it's ironic because we were kind of worrying about what they could do on that what was a good pitch to bat on and what they could do on day two and it ultimately actually just seemed to filter through to the rest of the test match with Stokes not being at like Stokes just mysteriously not bowling
Yeah,
for a long time. And it was partly, you have to imagine it must be because he did dig in for a long time.
surely,
And yeah,
surely.
and he was cramped. It seemed like
And Jofra only
cramping.
bowled 10 overs
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
that third day.
And he batted what? How many ball? He got 50. He must have seen,
Well, he made it 50, so
yeah,
yeah,
seen at
at
least
least
100
80
balls out
balls
there.
off the top
Yeah.
of my head. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of like, and that's what's just some of the majesty of test match cricket is all of these factors you have to work into it. Like you're not going to get that in a T20 because they're only doing four. They've got maximum of 4 overs in them, and they're not batting for that long. This is why it's the just by far and away will always remain the top tier format of the game and make why it makes it one of the greatest sports in the world because this is just drama and just things that you have to think
Hmm.
about. You just don't get in any other sport in the way that Test match cricket is structured. And yeah, you watched the attrition of batting in that weather. That again, we thought this was going to be detrimental to our bot. And look, we've got Nathan Lyon off with a hamstring now, and whether he's whether that's a build up of the day's play. Pat Cummins is probably going to take a rest for the rest of possibly the rest of the series again now, but he's hopefully gotten through okay, and it's just a load management. But we
Hmm.
were probably dealing with some issues as well. But the fact England just have seemingly it's like crumbled them a little bit with it in stages in the match. They almost found a way back late, but they just again, it's the test match aspect of it, and they just could not manage what the days which they got given the best day to bat in. If you're going to have a 40 day degree day in a test match, you want to be the batting side. They got that,
Hmm.
bowling us out for what we everyone considered unders. Again, gave themselves a chance. We gave them some of those chances. I think we talked about. I think it was Junior in commentary, like when we were six for on day one, was like at least five of those were gifts. Like he was basically saying, pretty much every wicket they've got is
Yeah,
a gift from us because we just
mm,
little scoop
gave it
shots.
away.
Yeah, so all the opportunities they had, the day they had to bat, it's I think that's what makes Australia's effort so impressive is that they kind of worked through all these little issues they created for themselves as well as just discipline, discipline, baby. That's what wins test matches, man.
Discipline.
And that's like
Hmm.
a it's like a tradition passed down through test sides. Both, obviously when it was Warne at one end and McGrath at the other end, it was discipline and pressure building. And again, like you said, pressure building doesn't have to be pressure. Doesn't it isn't built by smashing runs. It's built by disciplined cricket, whether that be with the bat or the ball, line and length, and all those things. Top of off repeatedly. You do all that stuff. You're going to win. Going to win Ashes series, and that's why Australia's basically won. Every that why England haven't won a Test match here since I was in college, and that was a while ago now. People.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite sad for them. Obviously not for us. Although, there's a part of, contests would be memorable as long as we win kind of thing, but also belting them is also fantastically warming to the soul as an
Mhm.
Australian. And um,
We got our
yeah.
contest last year against India. Like that was fun and stressful. We got that. Then the next,
Hmm.
if I could just have like fun against India and contest every couple of years, and then just smash England every time they come, that's a good balance for me. I reckon I could handle that.
Well, that's it. I mean, like, to be fair, some of the teams that have come here in previous Australian Ashes series haven't been that good. They've obviously had good players, um, but there's always been some notable weaknesses. And I guess now in hindsight, we some of the weaknesses in this England side have come to the fore, but you also feel that that's a bit of pig-headedness as well. Like you mentioned the India series last year, and they were actually willing to adapt
Mm.
and put their best foot forward. They actually trained on the Wacker for a little while before that first test match too. So again, not being pig-headed, although,
But I
the
mean,
a
Bumrah bowled.
cynical Aussie would
Well,
say that, Indian cricketers, can be, or the Indian, hierarchy, I should say. Um, but yeah, they actually put in the work to get the most out of the series last test summer, and Yeah, England will be privately having a good hard look. I would assume, you would hope as an English cricket fan. And you know, excuse me, in a couple of years' time, we'll go back over there. We'll be playing on postage stamps again, probably with flatties again, unless it goes scorched earth after this series. They might go back to some of the green seamers that we used to play against over there. But yeah, we'll go back there. It'll be competitive as it always is, in their home conditions, and then but the thing is for them, they now have to wait another 4 years to have another crack at us. And who knows what we'll look like in 4 years, but who knows what they'll look like in 4 years as well. You know, Joe
Mm.
Root's not getting any younger. Ben Stokes isn't getting any younger. So it could be um, an interesting time. Um, and the Schadenfreude is off the fucking charts right now.
Oh, it is. I've messaged you like every night of this test match, like when I've gotten home, and I've
Yeah,
been
Schadenfreude check in.
I've been watching like Talk Sport from the UK's live YouTube with
UK, yeah, yeah,
Steve Harmison
yeah.
and his weird Zoom filter. I don't understand it. It's like one of those like AI art like filters over his face. It's just like making him slightly cartoon. Um,
Oh, right. Yeah, it's probably to smooth out some wrinkles or
yeah,
something like
yeah. Which
that.
look, I understand. Of like rosacea and late 30s face of mine, but I just can't be bothered putting a filter on. Just put lights on in the background instead. But yeah, the
Yeah, yeah.
Schadenfreude just and it's so funny. It's like everyone was so excited for this series to begin in England, and all the predictions. Fucking Piers Morgan, that twat, like with his 4 or 5 nil stuff. Um, there's lots of excitement. It feels like, and I to be fair, I understand this emotional state because I'm in it often. Like I'm confident until things start going wrong, and then I immediately have like a 100-page dossier of excuses ready to go that were in the back of that were like in the realms of my subconscious because I am a disaster scenario planner, and it feels like English media and England in general have just been ready. Like, oh yeah, no, we knew this was going to happen. Like Bazball's fucked. And like before the series, it was like Bazball's going to win 4 or 5 nil. But as soon as it started going wrong, it's like, yeah, no, this makes sense. Like, and then it's just a litany of excuses. Bazball is dead, all this stuff, and these are the reasons why. And here is the 100-page dossier as to why that I've just come up with. But I'm very very prepared with it, and that's just the Schadenfreude of watching that happen has been very, very fun. And I know you've been enjoying it too.
Oh, absolutely. It's very akin to the Adelaide Football Club going out in straight sets without winning a quarter, of finals football, or watching their women's team bow out in the second week of the AFLW finals. It's very, very, very similar. And you're right about the excuses, like much like the World Test Championship final against South Africa. If we had lost today, we all would have been blaming a flat deck, that's for certain. But it wasn't to be. We didn't lose, and that's that. Bull don't lie. It's not what it says in the scorebook. It doesn't say flatty in the scorebook. It says Australia won by 80 odd runs. So I love it. It's been a great test summer so far, and we can all just kick back, enjoy our Christmas and New Year, and have the cricket on in the background as some white noise, some ASMR, and get about our business, with the comfort of knowing that we retain the urn yet again.
Mhm. It is beautiful. Retain the urn, win the urn out. Like it's not just the scenario of what was a great Test match series in England a couple of years ago, with 2023 year and a half ago. An incredible series, drama fueled. Obviously the stuff with Carey and everything, and incredible.
Carey, Carey, what did your stumping do? Get fucked.
Hissing at Kawaja.
His stumping got out Zach Crawley yesterday.
Incredible work. I think there's an area I want to go to that is more about like the aura of cricket and where what this series kind of puts an exclamation point on the last 3 to 4 years of Ashes rivalry is
Mm.
we had some real, line in the sand, spirit of cricket, like karma will come to get you kind of stuff from England back in a year and a half ago. Sorry, a couple of years ago, and it feels like this series, Alex Carey. Obviously, there was a little bit of snicko drama, but admittedly, that's not Carey's fault. And there's not like while some trollops on the internet will talk about how we should have walked. You just immediately respond with Stuart Broad absolutely hacking it to, I can't who caught that one back. I can't remember. All those years ago,
Michael Clark, I think,
that
at
was
first
Clarky.
slip.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
yeah. So that stuff, but Alex Carey's had just one of the all-time great series with the both, very, very good with the bat. Obviously, went that century at Adelaide was incredible. His work with the gloves has been like all-time stuff. Like standing up to the stumps to fucking Boland is just and just his reaction times and all that stuff. He's just been on top of his game and one of the best like Gloveman performances you'll ever see. And he's been very, very good ever since. What was it when he fell into the pool or whatever it was back a couple of years ago?
Yeah, in Karachi. Yeah.
Yeah, he
His career's just going up from there.
yeah. And so I feel like what basically my point is the spirit of cricket has been decided that Alex Carey is absolutely fine, and the spirit of cricket was just a bunch of whinging poms, ironically, besmirching the spirit of cricket and bringing the game into disrepute, and how they acted at Lords those few years ago, and that has been vindicated in the performance. In that, they've continued to try to follow the cult all the way to the Kool-Aid table in Jonestown. And we've just continued to do what normal people do in normal civilized society and just play the game the way it's meant to be played, and we've been vindicated by it.
Well, yeah. And then Joe, I mean, it all came in roundabouts, yeah, you talk about the Broad thing, karma coming full circle with not walking, but I mean, I think Joe Root was caught in the first innings by Alex Carey, and then they got Jake Weatherald with one that pitched. It was almost off the pitch on the leg side. No,
Yeah.
I'm just joking, but it clearly pitched outside leg, so I have no idea what umpire Raza were. And we will talk Port for those tuning in
Yeah.
to a Port podcast. But yeah, don't know what umpire Raza was doing in that moment. I don't know what the fuck he was looking at because umpires don't even have to watch out for the no ball anymore. The third umpire does. So to give it out in the first place, and England being gifted a wicket essentially because Weatherall didn't review it. Shut the fuck up about Carey. As far as I'm concerned, Joe Root had the chance to make us pay with a fortunate third umpire decision, but he nicked off as he always does. So again, ball don't lie.
Just hearing that Kerry O'Keefe type media
That
and the Joe Root is a nicker, and I'm just making sure I enunciate.
Nicker, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a nicker. He's a serial nicker.
Oh, that was a very good skull impression by you, by the way. Just very, very much enjoying all the reels going
I
around.
take pride in my impressions.
But yeah, I feel this is why this series I built it up so much emotionally to myself, because I'd been obviously, and you understand this. I mean, you've self-described yourself as much of a cricket nuffy, if not more than Port, which says something about, because we all know how much of a nuffy you are for Port, but you love your cricket. So you certainly understand the emotional mindset. But after that incredible series in England in 2023, I was thinking about this one since then. Like this is like a line in this is like this set, like part two of this whole drama. Like we'll either see the vindication of what they're doing, or we'll see the vindication of just us doing what we're doing, and all their hoopla and chat coming into it didn't really matter, and we just got the job done, and the good men that play cricket and play it by the rule book that was written by those fucking idiots over there, we've done the job and got it done with incredible ease and with our own attrition. You kind of mentioned we had no Pat Cummins for the first two matches. We lost Steve Smith on the morning of this match, who's been very good in this series.
Hmm.
Both his fielding's been incredible. Marnus, of course, took that mantle pretty damn impressively in this match, but Kawaja misses out and is kind of like only on half misses out in the first test that he is in because of his back spasms and those opening issues that we had. Travis Head's moved around the order. Josh Hazelwood hasn't featured at all. He's just not going to feature. Nathan Lyon's probably out again. So we've been shuffling the decks more than they've had to, really, just out of a lot of attrition that's happening within the side, and we haven't missed too many beats apart from obviously those little chances we've given England. But yeah, it makes me really proud as an Aussie cricket fan and a fan of this Test team that has been a part of my life for I've been watching, I've watched through all those generations, and this one I think it's a really good exclamation point on the legacy of Pat Cummins as well, and I think Steve Smith, to be fair, as well, because he captained very well in Cummins' stead. But Cummins is still the leader of this side and has been for a long, and has kind of
Hmm.
set the tone of who this side is for the last half a decade or so, and I think he's done an incredible job of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love cricket, as you said, and I watch the Australian Test cricket. So I watch the Australian cricket teams, both men and women's, much like I do with Paul. I watch them win games. I watch them in hopes that they will win the game of Port football. That's why I choose to enjoy Pat Cummins led teams and Steve Smith led teams, because more often than not, they win games of cricket. And I like that because that's what I turn the television on for. And yeah, you mentioned the part two to the whole saga, and I guess from another perspective, it could even be considered a part three, because obviously the 21-22 Ashes was the COVID Ashes and it was voided.
Oh yeah.
We had the voided Ashes and then we had the moral Ashes.
Mm.
And yeah, I built it up. I built this year up because England did a lot of talking. Australia did very little talking. And for me, it was an opportunity to smack them in the mouth and just remind them, A, who the best cricket side country is in the world, first and foremost, but B, like, you want to develop this cult, and, run to the danger in here. And I built it up in my own mind because I was quite confident that once they did get out here, they'd been preparing for the wrong situations,
Mm.
and Australia is a very, very good cricket side, and that they will show them who is boss, essentially. And yeah, for 3 out of 5 tests, they have done so far.
Yeah.
So it is complete and utter vindication, from a, as yeah, Sam Perry says on the Grade Cricketer, Dorito laden punters sitting on the couch. Yeah, but vindication for the people immediately involved, and as you said, with a couple of comments coming out now through Alyssa Healy, Marnus, yeah, and different bits and pieces, which we'll hear more of as the series comes closer to its conclusion as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I also think that yeah, sorry, I just lost my train of thought again. I'll cut that. I had a
Just
train
in,
I had a train of thought, then I was
just
just like,
enjoying the cricket.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an incredible song. I also the fact that England are already doing like, oh, if we can get it back to 3-2 after these last two matches, I'm like, no, it it's done as a contest. Like if you
It'll
win,
mean nothing.
yeah, it'll
The
we'll,
and the way that they would do that is to play Test cricket properly. So therefore, you've chucked out everything you've worked towards for 3 years to do so, which
Mhm.
is also funny.
Yeah. I wanted to say also, like I lost my train of thought before, but I was going to say you have been for months confident with this series. I was a little bit more probably tentative, but you've every time it's come up in conversation with you, like even 3 or 4 months ago, I think when we just started, things started like coming out about the series upcoming. You're like, no, we're going to win this one, like, and it's not going to be difficult. Um, it'll be a comfortable win. I was like, I like their confidence, and yeah, no, you were right. Similar to Alyssa Healy, who predicted that the series would be won on day 5 in Adelaide. You've
In Adelaide, yeah,
you've had
yeah.
similar energy in how you've been growing about the confidence you had in Australia being able to win this series and it not really be much of a contest, and you're absolutely vindicated. So it just goes to show that Jamie knows ball, which is incredible. Anything else to say on
Like to
that?
think
Or
I do.
yeah,
No, I mean, yeah, we could go on, but yeah, no, that'll do me.
hmm yeah, we're gonna continue enjoying some Schadenfreude and some more Aussie cricket as the summer
Yeah,
progresses for
I
sure.
got more. Yeah, I got more YouTube channels to feast on after we
Yeah,
finish recording.
yeah, I'll be doing the same. Like once we jump off recording tonight, it'll be straight back into the
Yeah,
sinking
so
into
let's
the
get through the
couch.
port news.
Yes, exactly. So yes, there has been port news occur on in the weeks since we last recorded. I think we'll start with just the AFLW kind of player acquisition, and indeed some moving on from Port Adelaide news as well. I guess the best place to start is the draft, and a big welcome to Sophie Eaton and Olivia Crane, two very very tasty prospects in Sophie Eaton being one of the top SA prospects, and Olivia Crane being a quite a handy and well touted defensive player with a good boot, which is something that we kind of we need a bit of adjustment down back. And you kind of mentioned that you reckon, like, we kind of, when Alyssa Brooke was delisted, we kind of both kind of did a little raised eyebrow with
Mm.
Alyssa Brooke being delisted. But I think you even brought it up at times, like this might be a sign as to where we're looking to recruit. And so lo and behold, Olivia Crane comes into the side, and of course Sophie Eaton, um, a adjacent to the Barossa girl, Freeling Hamley Bridge in her
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in her youth
Love
football
that.
career, but then out of Central Districts for her draft class as well. She's an incredibly highly touted AFLW prospect. A lot of people say that she's going to explode at the national level, and
Good.
really maybe only drop down the draft order a bit just with some inconsistency this year. She had some incredible games, but she also had some quiet ones, and they reckon that maybe that's an inconsistency for a player in her teens. I'm not going to be too worried about that. It's the I think I even saw in a rookie me draft profile that they said form is temporary, class is permanent, and Sophie Eaton's class. So again, another year of draft that has some nice, exciting prospects. And we had a pick higher up the draft this year, which is in Sophie Eaton, which is really really nice as well to continue flooding this side with such good, talented prospects that are ready made to go.
Yeah, and I feel that even though it's a national draft now, I still feel that clubs are looking in their own backyards first
Mm-hmm.
and foremost, a bit more warily than, say, the men's side of things. And, I guess this trade period, which we'll chat just after, is a good example of the risks that you
Mm-hmm.
take with Lily Patterson requesting a leave after 1 year. But then, with focusing back on the draft and Eaton, yeah, if she's a highly talented prospect and we got first dibs at her from a South Australian point of view, then come on in, Miss Eaton. But as well as that, branching out to Western Australia, taking a risk on a Western Australian, but one that is already a Port Adelaide supporter
Mm-hmm.
and somehow friends with the other girl that we drafted in Eton. So don't know. I haven't really delved into that very deep, but that's a bonus. One key characteristic I think that was described in both of their kind of player profile characteristics, whatever you like, is that they were good ball users, or they are good ball users,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is obviously a necessity for those playing at home. I do feel that it's probably going to be on every young woman's draft profile because it just makes sense that every year that the women's pathway goes on, the better that the average girl slash woman will be at using the ball, which is clearly an opportunity for improvement across the competition.
Mm-hmm.
Those who follow it closely aren't disillusioned by that fact. But yeah, look, if we want to take it on face value, it is nice to see that we've targeted some good ball users, which, yeah, again, you would hope for. But yeah. So you mentioned Alyssa Brooke being delisted, but also that came after JC retiring.
Hmm.
So while we were largely pleased with our defensive makeup in season 2025, it doesn't leave a lot of room for depth. So yeah, they clearly had their eyes on whether it be Crane or whether it be someone else taken ahead of her. Um, I don't know how many, kind of defense. I don't know if you could class her as a key defender. I'm not sure of her height, but I'm not sure how many other clubs targeted pure defenders. So whether we had our eyes on someone else, but clearly we had our eyes on a defender. Obviously, take the best talent with the first pick, and then aim for a defender. Naomi Maidment hasn't made many mistakes so far, and we're looking to have what will be a quality side for years to come. So I look forward to seeing both of them integrate into our women's program.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Crane's 181 tall, and part of her profile says that one on one, you back. They say that she's a
Yeah,
good one on one defender,
good.
and she's and then obviously her two-way work with being able to impact offensively once she has the ball in hand is a big part of kind of what we've
Yes.
taken on as well. So, yeah, she's some very very glowing stuff in like her profile, and a lot more strengths rather than and a lot more strengths listed than things that she needs to improve, which improvements are things that can happen. And they're both the two improvements that's got listed there is speed and athleticism. That comes with that comes with growth and age as a human being. So if those are the two things, then that'll come as you integrate yourself into the professional AFL system. If you've got all those intangibles and one of the top
We
ones,
saw that with Piper Window to an extent.
oh,
She's
she's
probably a
a
good recent
prime
example.
prime example because she looked somewhat fish out of water in her first match for a few moments, and then a couple of weeks later she was already flying. So, yeah, I like seeing like ones like Olivia Crane when some of the things that are on there as strengths, your ability to read the play, vision, kicking, positioning. Those are game intelligence things, and if you've already got that as a
Hmm.
strength to your game, then all of that stuff like so and then speed doesn't become as important if you're a good positional player and can read the play. Then again, if you get faster and can be faster, then great. But if you're, you can be ahead of the game if your game intelligence is there. So, yeah, really exciting prospects, and of course Sophie Eaton. I'm really excited to see her get in there as well. You mentioned, I think it's kind of you kind of mentioned about how teams are drafting still with an eye to homegrown talent to try to because it's still a sport that will see a lot of movement back now that it is a
Yeah.
national draft. We're going to see, like as you mentioned, the Lily Patterson for Lucy Boyd trade, which is of course, good luck, Lily Patterson. I did like her this year and her appearances for the side. So it's a sad one to lose, but we do bring Lucy Boyd back, who's a Port Adelaide fan and a South Australian local who got drafted to West Coast. So it's a little bit of the early years of the national draft in AFLW is going to see some of these movements, as you said, and we kind of we lose Lily Patterson, but we bring in Lucy Boyd, who's it's just another young, talented, good prospect with a bit of AFLW experience already at the Eagles, and yeah, it's kind of an exciting move. It's it's a straight swap kind of situation. I can't remember if was there any picks involved in that one. I can't actually remember, but
Yeah, I think there was picks, and I
I
think
think
it
it
helped
actually
strengthen
improved.
our draft hand for next year,
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I believe. And
Mhm.
we may have improved our second pick for this year that ended up with Crane. I'd have to look back at that. But yeah, Lily Patterson, her first game or two, there was promise there for sure. Fell out of the side. Obviously, AFLW doesn't have a reserves set up in any way, shape, or form. Unfortunately, when she came back, what did she have? A 17 disposal game, largely built off of a huge first quarter against St Kilda or
Mhm.
something like that. So there was definitely promise, but yeah, unfortunately, these are young women who are still growing up with a culture of in the football prism movement outside of the nest, I guess you could say. So there is that risk, and but Lucy Boyd, not only was she a Port Adelaide supporter growing up, she's related to Port Adelaide royalty with one of her uncles being Darren Cahill,
Mm.
and another one of her uncles being Mark Tyler, who was a serviceable, to say the least, Port Adelaide Magpies player. So
Mm.
it's in her blood, which I love, of course.
Hmm.
I love stories of players coming home, as it were, and yeah, just playing with that extra inch or two, knowing that they're and yeah, getting to play at Alberton too,
Yeah.
in Ebert's country. So look, it seems that we've benefited yet again, and like from a talent acquisition point of view, we're just talking about the draft, and we still have another player to talk about in our trade with Brisbane.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we're talking about Crane and Eaton being good ball users. Their draft profiles look good. That footy IQ point of it is how teams are inevitably going to bridge the gap between North Melbourne and everyone else, essentially. Whether you like it or not, like they're the benchmark for whatever reason, but teams are going to have to use the ball better, as we know, because when we played them, it was mostly through turnover that we found ourselves defending time and time again. So, yeah, better ball users, better football IQ, um, things like that are going to be the things that will count for a lot playing a team like North Melbourne and Brisbane, the runners up to another extent.
Hmm. Yeah. By the way, yes, you were correct. It was a pick swap, more or less, in that we sent our pick 36 and got pick 30. That ended up in Olivia Crane in that Lucy Boyd deal as well. So, some good creative kind of list management to get, move up a few spots to possibly get kind of someone that we're aiming for in that range, and Olivia Crane, and then obviously Boyd coming across, who can kind of play both ends of the field as well. So she could be in the defensive mix if need be, or so yeah, they kind of that list management that you mentioned with Maidment continues to kind of just show like that you can see the plan there, which is really I really appreciate with how it continues to build. You did mention the last and probably the biggest acquisition as far as experience goes, Ellie Hampson from the Brisbane Lions. She's got 54 games to her name now, which is a fairly good, a very, very good amount of games to have in the AFLW.
How many was that? Sorry.
54.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a good run.
And she's 24 years old, so she's not quite 20. Don't know what her age is.
Primed.
Yeah, I don't know when she turns, but she's basically in a 24, lots of time ahead, and she's already got 54 games under her belt. So yeah, she's primed to kind of hit her prime with us. She's got grand final experience. She's a premiership player with Brisbane. In the last time North Melbourne lost a game, probably. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
likely.
so she knows how to win against some of the best sides in
Hmm.
the comp. She kicked 2 goals in that grand final as well. So she's got experience. She knows how to play the big moments, and she's going to bring some very very good kind of maybe high forward craft and a little bit as she can play. A little get involved in the clearance game a little bit if need be. Is like one of those extra ones in the contest if need be around the ground. But she can kick goals, and I think she kicked 8 goals last year, which is a fairly good return for someone playing that medium forward role. So, yeah, very very impressed with that pickup. Obviously, I've only watched a couple of Brisbane games through in my life when Port have played them, which I think actually we might have only played them for the first time this year. No, we have played them before. Watching Jamie's nods and shakes here.
Um, oh, I was just bobbling my Santa
Oh,
hat.
you're just
Sorry.
being.
I can't actually remember if we've played them
I just like
before.
that childlike Christmas energy. Like, oh, I've got a Santa hat on. I'm gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like my
Yeah,
daughter does when we plait her hair. You just want to feel it wacky a little bit for some
yeah,
reason.
yeah.
I don't know, human reaction. But no, Hampson seems a versatile player and something that clearly developed in Lozanel's communication as the season went on, and then even postseason this year is that she wants to train a versatile team. and have players who can be versatile on field because again, there's only so many spots on an AFLW list and they're not playing reserves level games, whether it be in a bona fide reserves league or a state league, because they're all finished by the time the AFLW season starts. So,
Mm.
shifting players around was somewhat of a key characteristic this year for us. Apart from the rusted on positions, which are obvious, a player like Ella Heads, for example, stands out. She played multiple positions.
Mhm.
Sinead Goody going in or out of the midfield. So Hampson seems like another who can just kind of not feel a need from a you're just a role player kind of perspective, but yeah, she can go through a rotation and
Mhm.
support the team adequately, whether it be up forward or maybe a bit more midfield or what have you.
Mhm.
So looking forward to see how she integrates because it will be interesting to see who kind of shifts around or who potentially, gets relegated to a bench if it's not her to begin with.
Mhm.
Just see how the team shifts around because as we finished the year against GWS, it looked pretty well our best side, if I remember correctly. Um, I'm sure we would have had a healthy Cuthbertson back in if she was available, and then had she not retired heading into next season. But I'm not sure who wasn't playing. Caitlin Wendland, probably another one based off of 2024. Um,
Piper Window was out because of the cheek against Brisbane.
yeah,
So
yeah. So
yeah.
unlucky. Yeah, so that counts. So yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So it was nigh on our best side against GWS with a
Yeah.
couple of people who you would think definitely come back in. So again, it's going to be interesting, and it may be from this point forward where we have to unfortunately not necessarily say goodbye to some of our cult favorites and things like that, but soon enough the cult favorites will become the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th best player
Mhm.
on our list, and they'll get less game time. So it'll be interesting to see the metamorphosis of our best 21 on game day.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a couple of players that played a fairly, had fairly decent roles in our side get, say farewell to Alberton in the likes of Jazzy Stewart and Alyssa Brooke, and we some might have seen it as hard. I know Jazzy Stewart in particular, with the way she finished the season in such, kicking some crucial goals and having having a great quarter in the showdown, I think it was, and there was some people going, "Oh God, couldn't she have you found a spot?" But that's part of list management and growing a team that is kind of building for
Mm.
a run at
You
the
just
same.
mentioned Piper Window, who would immediately take her spot,
Yeah, exactly. And so
unfortunately.
yeah, a player like Jasmine Stewart, I think we've seen kind of the ceiling of as well. I don't think she's got a whole lot of development coming for her. I loved her, and I think she's been a great servant for
Yeah,
was a saying great
agree.
servant for the club, and I would have been happy if she was around still. But I could see if they're wanting to improve the list, that's unfortunately the kind of player that sometimes does lose their spot, and that's what what Adelaide fans demand is a little bit of you've got to be pragmatic and ruthless sometimes. As unfair as it is, we want every player ever that we've enjoyed, um, even a period of play from, to be a Port Adelaide player forever, because that's what you don't like losing your toys. You want to have them all. Like that's just like
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Particularly
yeah.
if they're good people or obviously good players.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
You want all the toys in the box, but there's only so much room.
Exactly. So, yeah, it seems a very, very good little, off season for us. There was no, great splashes, but we certainly didn't lose one of our all-time players and a multiple premiership player to the Gold Coast. So, we're doing okay.
And potentially up and coming star either
Yeah.
in a separate trade.
Yeah, yeah. So, everything's coming up, Millhouse at Alberton, which is very, very nice. Um, Yeah, that's. I think there's about it on the AFLW side. In any of the off-season news, it was more or less just the trades and drafts, and they're off on holidays. Keep an eye on the Instagram. Looked like a very very fun time over in Bali for some of them. But the men are back on.
Well, yeah, and sorry to cut in. If you,
Mhm.
I'm sure most of us noticed who already follow those girls on Instagram is that both Jazzy Stewart and Alyssa Brooke were over there with them. It was probably an organized end of season trip
Yeah,
from a little bit back, but good to know that yeah, good people. They'll always be Port Adelaide people in a sense now.
yeah.
That's kind of ethos that as a member of the club, that's kind of what I
Hmm.
feed off of, or that's my perspective of players and ex-players. So no bad blood, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to crawl to there. So
Yeah,
yeah, have
yeah,
fun, girls, and we'll wait painstakingly until the next AFLW season.
yeah, yeah. The men are back on deck. Obviously, preseason training has begun. Scares around with Jason Horn Francis a few weeks ago on feet and all those things. So, the preseason starts and we immediately start feeling the existential dread of the 2026 season. But there is excitement abounding as well. Obviously, gather round tickets have gone on sale. We have secured ours and very very excited to
Hmm.
responsibly drink at Lindock again and and enjoy.
And Steve better have some currywurst.
I have heard from Steve. He's going to the Sunday game this year. Yeah, I did talk to him.
Ooh.
I know
Uh,
Steve, but he's
we
got a
can
friend.
still crash his house.
He was just yeah, knocking the door. Catherine, I promise I won't vomit this year.
Barbie, barbecue.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he's got a mate coming down from the like Queensland, so they're going to the Gold Coast game that is at Norwood on the Saturday, and then doing the Sunday Lindock game. So I said, well, I will have a beer for you on Saturday, but I said I don't think my body
Fair.
could handle Lindock on Sunday and then trying to find my way down to Adelaide because you and I have both already made the plan that we're going to take the Monday off after the after the Port Sunday night game. So very very
Yep.
excited for that, and I did secure tickets for the Thursday and Friday night games as well. So I'm going to kind of tick off a game a day in gather round is my plan for this year. So I'm very excited for it. Um, Other news. You had a couple of things written down. I'm trying to remember them, so I'm just going to throw to you.
One of the bigger, well, more surprising news items out of the football club as a whole is that Tom Jonas has come out of nowhere
Mhm.
to elect for the board now that there's an obvious vacancy with Warren Treadray being relieved of his duties. And I'll leave it at that. I was probably going to go on, but I'll leave it at that.
I
But
was
yeah,
trying not to let my intrusive thoughts win, and I'm going to continue not letting that happen
oh,
and let you
plenty
go.
has been said about Warren Treadray. So yeah, no need for us to kind of rehash old news. But
Hell of a player. I'll leave it at that.
vacancy. A lot of people probably would have. I mean, I was probably of the thought that Bruce Abernathy would put his hand up again. And then there was talks of Dom Cassisi, and
Mhm.
from the news story that I think most of us Port fans have seen is that they're choosing not to contest the spot, as they don't want to turn it into a quote unquote popularity contest, and I think as an extension of that, not get in the way of Tom Jonas. So, unbeknownst to me, and I think you may have known because you've crossed paths with him on a couple of occasions, that he's a well educated man. It's what what he was doing in his um spare time while being a professional footballer was studying to be a lawyer, and has an MBE, I believe, as well. So business minded, I guess, from a theoretical point of view. Um, and I believe an ex-member of the board, or a person within the organization had already flagged him as a future board member, president, chairman, etc., etc., something along those lines. So, yeah, for us outside the four walls, it's a good reminder that there's a whole lot more going on that we are not privy to,
Mhm.
whether it be football operations or otherwise. So yeah, it was a huge surprise, and look, I think just straight off the bat, particularly if Bruce Abernathy and Dom Cassisi aren't contesting the spot, I dare say there'll be someone else putting their hat in the ring, who's not a football personality as such.
Mm,
And be that as it may, it's good to have people interested in positions like that when it comes to the football club that we love. But straight off the bat, I mean, I'm probably going to vote for him. It
yeah.
probably will be a popularity contest, and it probably will be, a bit of teal-colored glasses for him being so present in recent Port Adelaide watching and
Mm,
supporting. But it also may offer that modernized take on um, governance of
mm,
the football club and another perspective. And whether you like it or not, diversity is actually beneficial in boards and workplaces and social clubs and everything under the sun.
mm,
So uh, we're all about moving forward, Port Adelaide. That's why I love them. Potentially, taking risks at times as well. And I'm not saying that this is a risk. It's still a board of what is it, 8 people,
mm.
give or take. But yeah, look, straight off the bat, I'm probably going to vote for TJ.
Yeah, I would have to tend to agree. I mean, I've had the pleasure of attending one of the wine nights where his Hey Did a Wine business that he has with Ebert and a couple of others, and I mean that's another kind of feather in his cap that alongside those kind of educational things he's done for himself. He's started a successful wine business and winery, which takes there's a lot of work ethic that's involved in that. A lot of business acumen involved in being in the wine business, which is obviously very, very competitive down here, particularly if you're kind of positioning yourself as one of those kind of boutique wine, not boutique, but just like, those smaller wine labels that relies on a bit of creative marketing. And certainly it does help when you've got a ready-made fan base. Like I bought the wine because I'm a Port fan and I've actually enjoyed it and continue to drink it. But yeah, he's a very, very fun fella to talk to, but he was in off-season mode and enjoyed a fair amount of his own product and made fun of my wife's accent for a bit, which was very, very fun for us. But it's very, very my wife.
G'day, Andrea. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, my wifey. Andrea did also. Andrea's just such a mischievous soul that she had him, Tom, convinced that because we went to University of Oregon, that all University of Oregon students get free Nikes, and I think Tom, with his 6 glasses of wine deep, was like, "I'm ready to believe her." And I was like, "Why did you make? Why did you make?" And at the time, he was still playing. I was like, "Why did you make the Port Adelaide captain believe lie to him about our ability to get Nikes, like free Nikes, just for being Oregon students?" She was like, "It was funny." But he. He was a great hang. Enjoyed lots of wine with him, and he's a he also when we were chatting to him earlier in the night when he was a little bit more, hadn't had as much wine, just his passion for the club and his chat about future plans for the club. He was just chatting about. I think at the time was when we were there was genuine interest from the club in Cozzy Pickett. He was talking about that, and you could tell he really cares for the success of that. And that was at that time he was a player. But now he's moved on. If he's gone outside of the playing his playing days, done a bit of work outside of it, and has decided he wants to throw his hat back in the ring, then that speaks a lot to that continued passion that he must continue to hold for the club, and that makes me happy as well. And someone that is so recent to playing, I think, is cool too, because Treadray came in, we're talking what 12, 13 years removed from when he retired. I'm trying to do the math on his retirement, but Jonas is what 3 years removed.
I think it was a bit longer than that,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So yeah, it's there's a very, very recent knowledge of how the game is being played for the modern in the modern game, and what it is like as a modern player, and having that kind of insight on the board along with his business acumen could be very, really, really handy. So yeah, I agree, just purely based on the fact that yeah, I know who he is, and as a fan, not like it's just I want to vote for. I'm inclined to vote for him. You'd have to be if it's any other, not to be dismissive, but any other Port fan that I don't know of that is putting their hat in the ring will have to impress me greatly for me to vote over. a former port captain that I have a lot of affection for. So
Yeah, yeah, I
even if
agree. I
even if
agree.
he
Yeah, and it's
even if
yeah,
he did
if
briefly
someone
wear a Norwood
else,
jumper.
yeah, well, all sins can be forgiven once you
Exactly.
reach the Holy Land. Um, but yeah, yeah, to echo your sentiments, if there is another candidate who puts up a compelling case, it won't fall on deaf ears, that's for sure. Because
Hmm.
again, as a member, you have the luxury to be part of this decision-making process, and it shouldn't be taken lightly if you actually care about the club.
Hmm.
So yeah, all the credit to whoever else is willing to nominate for the spot for sure. I'll be
And I'll
all
definitely
ears and all
read and
eyes.
intake all information I can on all. I remember doing it the last few times, and I agonized the last vote and ultimately voted for Treadray. Regretted it soon after, but I genuinely wanted to get, despite not agreeing with a lot of things he was doing. I was like, okay, you've had your opinions. I want to see, I'm giving you the platform to do what you want to do, and you decided to create a different platform for yourself and do what you're doing, and we ended up where we are now. So,
Doing
but,
what's doing.
but I'll give everyone their time. But Tom Jonas just does have that already ingrained passion from us as Port fans. So, yeah, he'll be hard to beat, and it's nice to see that ABBA and Kasisi have recognised that and kind of gone, no, yeah, no, we'll recuse ourselves. Maybe Abernathy has the memories of the previous. Obviously, it did become a popularity contest and a bit of a pissing contest between fans and just the kind of that icky divide that was at the club with everything going on. Whether it was like Abernathy's a Kosh stooge and Treadray's a point of difference. It's just like, let's just not have that stuff again. So yeah, yeah, and yeah, it'll be fun to have Jonas on the board because I'm already just like there'd have to be something crazy happen for him to not probably get the nomination. I would think so. Be very very fun to see him there and what he can do for the club.
Agreed.
Hmm. What else you got in your little Christmas list there, Jamie?
Oh, not much left in the stocking. Obviously, yeah, there's always bits and pieces because
Hmm.
that's the AFL circus. Obviously, Will Brodie did an interview. It was very much the questions that you would imagine if you haven't already seen it. For him, a bit like Treadray in a sense, is like, you know, we traded 103 for you. You know, we all know your record under Carr as your midfield coach. Not that he's doing a lot of talking,
Hmm.
I must add. Um, but it's more so like, cool, haven't given up a lot for you. We know what you offer at your best. We'll see what happens next season. But obviously, him being very humble and acknowledging Josh Carr and the relationship there and the likelihood of more opportunity. But yeah, that was really the only other thing. We've obviously got a bit of a look at a few rigs with a lot of the summer photos being taken of the men's team, and there's clearly a few boys who've put a bit of work into their rigs. Yeah, very Hamish Hartlett 2016-ish, 2017 vibes, I think it was. Like Hammer got built and lean, but then he also had a bit of that longer hair as well when he was still a midfielder.
Hmm.
So yeah, Ollie Lord looking pretty good. Yeah, he's going to need a big year. A couple of rig photos of his that were quite good to the eye, and Dante Vicentini as well. He's looking quite built and looking more and more like a Man Mountain. Um, so another interesting kind of story to go into 2026 is the ruck battle or the ruck combination, depending on how teams are selected.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the new rules in the bench, extend the extra spot on the bench. But then, yeah, new rules with the ruck, new rules with the bench requirements. So yeah, some kind of intriguing things to play out, but it could potentially, yeah. We tried it once this year, did we? Did we play Vicentini and Sweep once this year? This last year gone? Was it?
I cannot remember. If we did, I think it may have been once.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there's some intriguing stuff coming forward. I did just have a memory what we talked about off air in the previous, but yeah, you kind of touched on the draft and pick 103 for Brody, and of course Fremantle passed on pick 103. So
Just a lot of
we
passing.
yes, we of course passed on our draft pick and became the first club to not um, draft in the modern draft era. It was interesting watching we talked about this a bit off air, but I wanted to put it on the podcast because I just thought it was amusing watching the kind of social media clickbait headlines about, like, I think I can't remember, it was a Channel 7 post at some point about like the laughing stock that Port Adelaide is, and it was really just talking about people laughing at the fact they passed in their draft pick, but it was a lot of commentary around it that just didn't really have much substance to it, and it's just like there was a real clear plan, and we all knew that this was going to happen with Port too, with likely passing on the draft pick. There was lots of laughter about the fact that they sent a team over to the draft to partake in the
Yeah.
process, but they clearly said afterwards they're like, there was players that if they were there we would take, so they weren't there, we didn't take them. We have to be present to do this.
Yeah.
It's just it's clickbait and laughs for the sake of having clickbait and laughs, like in this modern era of social media. And look, I indulge in memes regularly, so I'm a part of the system. But sometimes I think there's a little bit of a lack of intelligence involved in some of the commentary around these things. And Port Adelaide's list management plan over the last, going into this year's draft and their plans going forward are very, very clear and known to many people, and very, very headline worthy when the Dougie Cochran news came out. And also we've talked about it on the previous podcast about our heavy action at the mid-season draft, which didn't exist years back. So we've actually taken 3 players this year, drafted 3 players into our team this year. So a whole lot of mountain out of molehill stuff in how what Adelaide's draft was. And people just want new toys. They want new things. It's Christmas time, so I get it. I'm looking forward to new things, but the draft thing, like, people just wanted to take a new player and have hope. That's what the draft brings. Like, there's an entire movie about the NFL draft called Draft Day, which is very, very addictively, badly, but good, rewatchable. Kevin Costner's Draft Day. Watch it. It's fun. It's the whole hope of the draft is that you can rebuild your side in one fucking night, And so people are wanting stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we had the plan to obviously and upgrade Jack Watkins. Everyone wanted us to do that in the mid-year and draft him. And then we get to the end of the year, and it's like, we're going to upgrade Jack Watkins. It's like, oh, it's only because he's Zach Butters, mate. Like, everyone has already passed the Jack Watkins. Like, we want Jack Watkins, and in the mid-year draft, by the end of the year, it's like, oh, fuck it. I want newer toys.
It's not enough mid-year for me.
He's 6 months old now. We don't need him. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
nah.
That's
Good
my
reward
piece
for
on
effort
it.
though on Jack Watkins.
Absolutely.
So,
Like, it's not just because
yeah.
he's Zach Butters, mate. That was like a little bit of facetiousness, but there was some people saying that on the internet, so that's why I brought it
Yeah, oh
up.
yeah, yeah. Plenty of people have a keyboard that they can write on, that's for sure.
Yes, it is shaped
But
like a
yeah,
sword
yeah.
because they are a warrior.
Yeah, they are a warrior. Yeah, yeah, going into battle. Good on you. Um, yeah, no, good reward for effort for Jack Watkins. What he'll produce, who knows? But as any other person that puts on a Port Adelaide Guernsey, or has a spot on our senior list, AFL list, I wish him all the very, very best, and
Mhm.
hope that if and when he is called upon, he makes an impact and plays his role. And you're talking about new toys. It just reminded me of the SSP candidates that are currently
Mhm.
trying out. And then obviously the most noteworthy one is Jaden Stevenson, who may be an inadvertent new toy, because it seems more than likely that he was going to get. Is it one spot or 2 spots that we have open?
We've got 2 spots. I think there's a couple of others. I can't think
Yeah.
of their names right now, which is bad of me, but it is off season and I am drinking and
There is
enjoying it
Udsean
massively.
Benyai, who I am, well, a lot
He's
of people in
he was
our
one that
networks
slipped.
are very keen on.
He's one that slipped out of the
Yes, he is a
draft that people
South Australian prospect. Yep,
and
who
people thought he should
who
have got
slipped
drafted.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, particularly from SA, who keep a keen eye on these things, thought that he could
Is
have, would
he
have, should have got drafted,
is he
but
one that
didn't.
Addy is he one
So
that Addy was keen on? Like if anyone on
yes,
Twitter sphere knows Addy on
Addy
Twitter,
Rajesh on
who,
Twitter.
who
Yeah,
does keep a
yeah,
lot.
and I think Big Dog as well.
Well,
Big
I,
Big Dog on Twitter for yeah,
oh,
who
like,
is a bit of a cult character. I don't know if you can even call him that. He's a character.
oh, he's definitely got himself a
But
corner of the internet that is his. It is
yeah,
the big dog corner.
but as well as that, I mean, just hearing, I think there's a forward from Perth, Zado or Zadao, who I think is a small forward as well. We're obviously looking to build our small forward depth, Moneyball,
Mhm.
which was the theme coming into season 2025 because of the loss of Willie Rioli and such, Sam Powell Pepper for the start of the season. So, but just going back to Ucho and Beignet, it I mean, it does surprise me that he didn't get drafted from a Nuffy's point of view because he does look quite strong for a young man, just to the eye. But I think part of it had, he decided to play with an injured shoulder, more or less. Like he had not a busted shoulder, clearly enough to play with, but it was basically if you get surgery, you're going to miss out on under 18s competition. And but if you can play through it, you can play through it, kind of thing,
Mhm.
which he chose to do. So I think if a guy who's 18 or thereabouts is making those decisions, tough, courageous, it's very Port Adelaide workman-like. That kind of ethos will go down well if he does end up attaining that final spot on our list. And then there's your new toy, everyone.
Mhm. Yeah. He's the new toy, and then Jaden Stevenson's an interesting one because there's some people like that are very against it, but there's some people that see the. I mean, he was he's a rising star winner and kind of a real kind of star that
Mm,
faded, star that shone bright, bright
yeah.
and furious, quite quickly, but extinguished himself with probably just losing the love of footy and leaving Collingwood and going to
North Melbourne has that effect on people.
teams too. Yeah. Their captains want to leave, so um,
But he's not the captain anymore.
yeah. Well, yeah.
A bit
So
like Zach Merritt. You can't really come back in as a captain now.
exactly, yeah. You are not the
Yeah,
captain.
but I mean, the thing is for mine and for anyone who's a regular listener, which I'm sure for a footy podcast this close to Christmas, I'm sure the only people listening are probably regular listeners.
So
Or if you're not, welcome.
thank you to you
Hello,
people.
Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, thank you everyone.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, my opinion is that if you can get a 30 goal kicker for free, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Because
especially
at the end
one.
of the day, Willie Rioli was touching on 30 goals. He didn't get there at the end because of his obvious downfalls in season 2025,
Mhm.
pitfalls. Uh, but if you can get a 30 goal forward in Jaden Stevenson, which we know at his best, he could do in a canter. If you can get that for free, you'd be stupid to pass that up.
Mhm. He's he turns 27 in January, so he's kind of if he's
Perfect
found,
age profile.
yeah, if he's found his form, not so much form, like that'll come, but if he's found his passion for the game and really wants to play and he's fit and ready to go, then those kind of skills that he's had won't he's still going to have those. Obviously, you said, yeah, 30 goal a
Hmm.
game, 30 goals a season kind of guy. He's averaged, like, he's played 122 games across his years at Collingwood and North Melbourne and kicked 130 goals. So, a tick over. And he was going at, probably almost a goal and a half a game at Collingwood, dropped down to under a goal a game at North Melbourne. I wonder why. Um, so, yeah, if across his career, which is up and down, averaging just over a goal a game. If he's kicking a goal a game, then it's at least he's probably going to have his good ones and bad ones. But if he's fit and ready to go at 27 and is passionate and he's Port Adelaide's a place that people can do come and enjoy playing footy again sometimes. So yeah, it could be.
Proven track record. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is very, very moneyball.
Players do come here and get better more often than not.
Yeah.
We have a proven track record. We have to do things differently as the second club in a non-Victorian market. You're forced to do things different, pretty particularly in the last decade.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's Island of Misfit Toys stuff. So yeah, going back to the toy theme. Yeah, it's not a new toy, but that the old toys can be pretty damn, whether you want to use Toy Story analogies or
Come
whatever.
back in vogue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tamagotchi.
I'll write my name on the bottom of Stevenson's foot and make him my
Yeah.
my Woody.
Yeah, someone put him in a box, put him on the side of the road, and then we came up with our daddy driving the car and we said, I want that.
Hmm.
There's a box of toys right there. And one of them is Jaden Stevenson.
Yes,
So,
and
and look, alternatively, if we do get Jaden Stevenson, if we do decide to pick Jaden Stevenson as one of our SSP spots and it doesn't come off, then we've still
yeah, we've lost nothing.
we've lost just because I've seen predicted ladders and all of that all way too early, and they've been noted as way too early predictions. But I've got some one that I saw that had us in the bottom 3 or 4 or some shit like that. It is important to remember, not that I want to delve into this because we're about to wrap up, but it is important to remember the side that took the field in the 2024 preliminary final and see how similar it is to our best 23 going into season 2026. So, um, with natural progression and touch wood, far less on the injury front. There's a lot to be confident about with or without Jaden Stevenson. But if you got a free hit at a talented player like him, yeah, like I said, you'd be stupid to ignore that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know when I first heard the rumor, I was like, that's odd. But as soon as it's actually just come out that once he's actually been in Port Adelaide training in earnest, I've been like, yeah, I remember watching this guy, when he was playing his best footy, and he was good, and as evidenced by winning the Rising Star, which, like, just to have a quick look, I just actually want to have a look at the Rising Star in 2018. If my internet will load quick, you had players like Aaron Norton, James Warple, Sam Taylor, Ollie Florent. Thank you again for that moment, Ollie. Tom Duday, Riley Bonner was one of the nominations that year as well. So there was some good play. Ed Richards.
Oh yeah.
Ed Richards was in there. Cam Rayner, Adam Chera, Jack Higgins. There were some very, very good players in there, and he won. He finished top over. Tom Duday was second. Alex Witherden was third. It's incredible to see Cam Rayner. Ed Richards is down with 1 vote. You've got guys like Adam Chera not even getting a vote in the Rising Star that year. But there was some very, very good players there. So it shows how quickly he burned bright early, and then things went the way they did. But that talent is still there, and if you can kind of put everything together, fuck yeah, let's do it. I'm keen.
Yep. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. If there's anything else in particular you want to bring up, go for it. But otherwise, couple of questions off the top just to finish off, just to give it a little bit of Christmas spirit at the end. And because I love movies, it's going to be movie based. What I don't think we've ever had this discussion as well. So it's just like I'm finding out about my friend Jamie on the podcast. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
I think you did ask me this last year,
Probably
to be
did.
honest.
I was drunk
In the
and forgot.
moment, now that you asked me that, and because I think I went on a bent about the Netflix movie Klaus, which we watch every
Oh,
year,
we have had that.
which
Yes.
isn't, yeah, which is an animated movie. My other favorite Christmas movie is Batman Returns. No, that's a
Yeah.
bit of a joke, along the same lines as Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Die Hard
Um,
is a cry. I will fucking die on that hill.
yeah, and so is Batman Returns.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, Tim Burton's Batman Returns is Is a Christmas movie. No, a family favorite is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Hmm.
The original Santa Claus. That's a good one. Um, I also the movie How to Make Gravy. It is Gravy Day today as we're recording. So happy Gravy Day to everyone. But yeah, they made a movie out of that song a couple of years ago, and it's like it's not a happy Christmassy movie, but it is a movie about Christmas and shortcomings around Christmas time, and it's a movie full of heart, which I like.
Hmm.
Amazing that they got that much out of a song, source material. But I like that one. But no, yeah, family favorite is the Santa Claus. Most of our family watched that one leading up to Christmas, and then quote it for the 11 months after
Yeah,
the Christmas period.
yeah. I love the Santa Claus growing up. I haven't watched it as much as an adult, but it was one of those ones that was on regular rotation. I was just like, my family was a home improvement family, so kind of like adjacent to that. I was like, oh, Timo,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
t Tall Time Tim's in fucking is Santa Claus okay? I'll watch that. Like that was kind of like
and
my
also Buzz Lightyear, who with your Andy Toy Story reference
yeah
before,
yeah
ties
yeah
in quite nicely.
Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. Yeah yeah. I, in the family vein, I can't go past Elf. That one's kind of built across the
Yeah,
years too. It's probably come from,
yeah, we've watched Elf.
yeah. Like obviously I love Will Ferrell in his adult comedies, but I love what he brings to
Hmm.
that, and like having to restrain all the adult joke humor stuff and really go full tilt at the childhood stuff. And there's like some adult storyline in that movie, like in the subtext of it, but it is all very very cute and humorous. And there's just that one's endlessly quotable as well. Like, you're an angry elf. Just that scene just killed me every time. Like Peter Dinklage just fucking flying across the table. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Love my like Gremlins is one I grew up with as well. That's like,
Gremlins.
and that's a
Wow.
dark
Yeah.
fucking like that is a dark movie in some ways because like
Yeah.
fucking Phoebe Cates' character, which by the way, like just crush on Phoebe Cates when I was younger as well. That was before I'd seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High. But it was just from Gremlins. But she like she's talking about like why she hates Christmas. Like, oh yeah, because my dad went down the chimney to try to surprise us and dress as Santa, and he got stuck and died. And it's just like my parents let me watch that when I was a kid, and I was just like, Gremlins Christmas movie, yay! Oh, those cute little gremlins and that fucking mogwai. And then I watched it as an adult, and I was like, why did my parents let me watch this? And somehow they didn't let me watch Jurassic
Because it
Park.
shut you up. That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah. Well, I fuck, and now I've always been a horror guy, so I think like early intros to stuff like Gremlins, but I love Gremlins is just such a fun, cute, weird movie with all set at Christmas. Like there's a lot of it that's not about Christmas, but it is about Christmas because it's like the dangers of gift buying, I guess, in a way.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's
for
just
sure.
so much about it. But that's one that I've watched recently again, like this year after having gone. I hadn't actually watched Gremlins for a few years. And it was a bit unfamiliar to me again, which is crazy because I watched it all the time as a kid. But yeah, I watched it again this Christmas season and really enjoyed it. But the goat to me is still Christmas Vacation. Like that one is just
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
perfect. It is so perfect with the tiniest bits of drama, but it's not really drama. It's just comedic drama. But ultimately, just it's all about you know the crazy quirks of family Christmas, and the it's ultimately worth it. Like even if your mother in law is like a cunt or something, um, where like when
Yeah,
he's
there's a
like,
message in all of those
yeah,
movies. This is like Christmas. Yeah, it is worth it in the end.
I love. There's that quote in Christmas
All the
Vacation.
turmoil.
Yeah, like in Christmas Vacation when Audrey's like complaining about like having to sleep in the same bed as her brother because like all the family have come to stay and taken all the other beds, and she's like, oh yeah, I have to sleep with my brother, you know how disgusting that is. And she's like, the mum's just like, well, I sleep with your father. Like it's like, yeah, that's disgusting. But then she's like, but then she follows it up by like, what can I say, it's Christmas time and we're all miserable. Like, and it's just like, it's just, but ultimately, at the end, they're singing Christmas carols and dancing and drinking eggnog and having the time of
Yeah.
their lives, and that's what it's all like. We're all stressed at this time with gift buying and all that. I've been really organized this year and quite happy. I've pretty much dealt with everything apart from a couple of little things that aren't stressful to pick up in the next couple of days. But it's all worth it once you get there. And sometimes it's about like working out. Like you don't have to stress, like working out how to, like I've worked out how to just not stress myself out about it enough as much as I used to. And the Christmas is actually really like I'm non-religious. It doesn't the religious aspect of it doesn't mean a thing to me. To those that do, great. Like it's fine. It's not like I'm yucking your yum. It's just for me, I don't attach myself to that stuff. Christmas is about family for me, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. That Christmas day, just hanging out. I said to my parents, like they were like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "Just you guys chilling at home. Like I will come and just hang out, drink a few beers all day, we'll watch a movie. We'll obviously do our gifts and eat some food and be merry. But that's just all I want to do is just spend time and chill, like and just chill out, like with my family. Like that's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what I like about the movies that show that stuff is like it kind of shows all the chaos and the stupidity of it, but it also shows that kind of like in between all those roads that lead to the day is that it's kind of like it's all leading to a great moment at the end. Whether it be Hans Gruber falling out of a tower and finally meeting up with Al the cop downstairs, or if you're just dancing around with cousin Eddie drinking eggnog, it's all worth it in the end. Yeah, no, that was a
beautiful sentiment to finish on.
Yeah. So I guess like Merry Christmas to everyone out there, obviously. Enjoy it. Don't stress yourselves out too much if you've still got some last minute Christmas shopping. It'll come together. And ultimately your family hopefully will just appreciate the time they get to spend with you. That's what it's all about in the end. That's it's really sentimental, but that is the greatest gift of it all. Like it is just about getting that time. That's what I love about Christmas, just the downtime to spend time with your friends and family. So I'm glad I got to spend the time with you tonight in the podcast, Jamie, and your beautiful Christmas hat.
Likewise.
Yeah. And spend the time with you out there, Creed fam, as well for our random PEARY Christmas episode. It's been nice to sit down and chat with you all and see out the year in a little bit of festive spirit, a little bit of Ashes 3-0 fuck off spirit, and ultimately just look forward look forward to hope springing eternal in 2026 with the Port Adelaide Football Club.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Thanks everyone for your support in 2025. We look forward to picking it all right back up again next year as we head into season 2026. Have a PEARY Christmas. For those, spending time with family, or if you're not, if you're having a Friendsmas instead, or just choose to spend the day alone. I hope this week is a happy one nonetheless. And love you all. Thanks for your support again. And go the Power, go the Australian men's cricket team, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year.
Con la pera.